Hello. 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 Hello.
FurryCures1221 thinks you should do 20 squats.
You have to hit me with the squats so soon. I don't know what's gonna be worse, playing a video game that wants to spook me or all the squats I'm gonna have to do in this game. Alrighty. Get to this over here. Close this tab. Close that tab. Move this over here. And is my hands moving? Yes, they are. Hopefully I'm being heard well, which is good. Alrighty. I have got to do my squats. I'm going to be doing the max today, Bone. Oh, goodness. Have you just been, like, lurking in my channels the entire time you've been ill? You've been like, right, I'm just going to rest. You're just going to rest, you know, your phone as you were like, yep, of course you were. Alrighty. Let me, why am I, 30,000 points? Alright. Let me get the squats going. I guess Bone doesn't want to be my biggest fan. You don't want to be my biggest fan, Bone? Alright, here we go. Alright, hang on. Leg. Right. Left. All right, cool. All right, I'm limba. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Thank you for the 20 squats. All right, now I just gotta, hey. Quentin Radio, thank you for the follow. Don't know why a radio is following me. Hang on a second. I need to, like, sit myself up straight. Bop. There we go. Now I'm, like, facing forwards. Cookie for bestest boy! Here's your cookie! I don't know why. I feel like I'm bigger. Yeah, I'll go hydrate. I just did my 20 squats, so I am most likely going to have to do way more squats now than I have been in all of March, because guess who's back? Bone! Bone's back, everyone! Thank you for hitting that nut button. Bone is back, and Bone has decided to just, you know, be my squat trainer again after they've been gone a little bit. Your points are for squats? Yeah, but your points could be used for so many things! Like I see you did the first thingy-madiggy. You could, I don't know, you could do the peck dance. You could tell me to stretch, drop an anvil, or you can be my biggest fan. For only 2,700 points, you, Bone Masked Dog, can be my biggest fan. Or with 10,000 points, you can do a video request where you share a link and what bit value or like redeem you want the video to be available as. Don't pressure him on. I will do what I want. This is my stream. Also, hang on a second. I think, ow, I need to get my gun out into this fight, because we can see Furry Cure is fighting Bone and taking the lead from him. Oh, yep. All right, now I'm coming in with my pitchfork. Look at me down there. Look at me fighting Bone on his hill. Yeah. Oh, we're gonna fuck him up. Yeah, bestest boy getting in there with his guns. Pow, 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 pow. Oh my god, what is Scarecrow sketch? What is that? What is that little weirdy thingy-madiggy? What is that weird, like, Pokemon? I think that's a Pokemon. You're already the biggest fan of your muscle. I guess that is fair. It's a Snom? Snom is a kind of headphone... No, yeah, it is headphones company. There is no way Snom is a, what's-a-mahoozy, thingy. Words failing me. It looks like it does just a little bit. It looks like a worm is what it looks like. A goddamn worm. Got a face of concern. Yeah, no, fair enough. All right. So I know this came out like a few weeks ago now, but I have finally come and I'm starting to play Resident Evil 4, the remake. I should probably preface, not the old one from ages ago. So you see, I was very interested in playing this game, and when I got my bonus from work, I also purchased myself a copy. But then I realized I would be fighting tooth and nail with every streamer if I tried playing it the second every other streamer was playing it. And I'm a big Zeebs also in the world. Run a game. I forgot. This is going to be fun. I don't know how much lag you guys are going to be experiencing, or if my character is even going to be crashing. Or my character actually just, you know, properly freezes right now. Let's see. So that thingy, yep, okay. I am slowly coming back up to speed. Alrighty then. My audio output is more like headphones. Oh, I can play this with a controller. I'm probably best playing it with a controller. One moment. Alright, type A, type C, but type B, what's the diff? Ow. ABX. Cookie for, once again, bestest boy. Jonar, it's been a while. It has been a while. Oh my goodness, my body is having a absolute like banger of a time trying to, you know, do all this while there's a CPU intensive game on the horizons. Oh my goodness. Oh my damn. Oh my goodness. We're going ham. The controller is the best way to play. Excellent to know. The controller is also the best way for me to avoid input lag when trying to aim down sights and what have you. Let me just do a quick check of my task manager just to make sure I don't have any, like, you know, wasteful programs, because I have not yet gotten my new CPU. So I have been saving up for it. A few of the viewers have been contributing to it, which I really appreciate. And I should hopefully get a new CPU by... Oh my god, I think the music has stopped in the background as well. Let's see. Yep, so Resident Evil is using like 30% of the CPU. It doesn't even get half. I am going to need to end in intro fighters, I'm sorry to say. Look at my GrantZeebs with the 4 kills. I'm sorry to say, but I am going to need to end the fighters in order to get my CPU back. I'm sorry to say. So I'm going to Alt F4 that one. And yeah, this is always the best. You know, the only thing I would is put you in a maid outfit. Of course you would try and put me in a maid outfit. Jotnarg went through an upgrade recently with the 3060 Ti and a Ryzen 5900X. So the CPU that I'm going for actually is in the 5000 series as well, because right now I'm using a 5600X. But unfortunately, while that CPU is really good for 3D or streaming or games, it can't do 3D and streaming and games. It can't do 3 things at once. It's like me. I can't do multiple things at once. I'm trying to, like, do troubleshooting, but I also want to play a video game, and then I also want to talk to chat. It's all very much, like, confusing and hard to do. Yeah, I've got, like, no other... Ah, shit! Hi, Jason! Sounds like a skill issue? No, it's not a skill issue. It's a tech issue.
Hello.
Oh, I guess you mean me trying to do multiple things at once. Yes, that's probably a skill issue. Hang on, the music got paused. Hello? Alrighty, I think I've got... Alright, now... Move on over into here. Get the camera moving. Just you wait.
At least we are now in the same time zone, lol.
Yeah! Time zones have recently altered for Sydney and Melbourne and all the silly states that follow daylight savings yesterday or the day before, which I'm really pleased about. So, yay, I don't have to deal with daylight savings. But that does mean that if Code decides to stream at, like, you know, in the evening, it's now at like 9 p.m. instead of 8. So I am, like, very much tired. You're gonna turn me into a bag of zebra... Okay, so that's fairly loud. Hi there, Bookie. Zeebs Burger. Oh yeah, no, I gotta, like, hang on a second. I actually have a zebra burger. That was done by Bone Mass Dog as a fun Photoshop edit, which was really cool. I see Sir Dragon has already found the most recent addition I have made to my stream, which is the fact that there are now zebra bits. Maximum adjust until the bright is just barely visible. There we go. Adjust until the pattern is just barely visible. Adjust while facing the screen head on. Adjust until the image in the center is clear, barely visible. If the image remains invisible, check your min-max. Actually, no, hang on. I'm gonna try and make it as like aesthetic as possible. There we go. And then, yep, I can change it. Preset for visual, preset for auditory, presets for motion sickness. Adjust the. Yep, no, that's fine there. Can I say I do not consent? Yeah, I can. These settings can change at any time. There's an auto loading. So yeah, so I have a series of bit redeems that can be done while I am playing this video game. It should be available on the overlay where so like if you're viewing on like, you know, the website, it should be just on the player. If you're on a mobile phone, it should be available there as well. But yeah, oh my goodness, look at me go. Look how fast I am going. Like, it's like watching a slideshow or manga panel. Is this how Kusaki felt when they were playing this video game? Or maybe Puffin? They just feel like, oh, so fast. Like, I'm fast as fuck. Look at me go. Bam, bam. Just going absolute ham. You actually have it? You feel honored? Oh, the zebra donuts. That's cool. What does this button do? I don't know what button you're talking about. I am going so fast that I'm probably only gonna, you know, see what effect you do in like 5 minutes or so. But yeah, we're gonna go through Resident Evil 4. If, however, the video game is still like being like extra terrible with its thingy-majiggies.
Dog has added quote number 340. I am fast as duck.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I had a quote added into my system. So, alright, cool. Looks like I'm kind of like slowing down to normal. Alright. Let's see how we go. I might just adjust the volume so it's not so loud in my head. So the crouch, the running. So crouch is B. Commander, Captain, partner.
We have something really
Is someone my newest, biggest fan? Oh my goodness. Gentlemen.
Are you wearing Kevlar?
Gentlemen. And pretend it's not a big ass elephant in the room.
What the fuck is going on?
This is what the fuck is going on. Look at him! Look at my little boy! Oh my gosh, this...
Oh shit!
Is it choppy for you guys right now? Because it's choppy for me.
Ah shit! No! That is not happening right now! No!
Is it choppy for you right now? The video and all that kind of stuff? Because, hang on a second. Because the bitrate, it says the bitrate is fine. It's not like too high or anything like that. Ooh. Rapid, can I just, yeah, I'm fine with like tapping rapidly. Quick turn button is the run. Oh, I can change which one is the quick turn. Okay, I think it was defaulted to if I'm running and I do like the back thingy-majiggy. I'm fine with that. Cursor lock. Constrain it to the mouse screen. I'd rather not, because I'm probably only going to use it a few times. Magnification reset after each thingy-majiggy. Adjust how much the reticule slows down when it's over target. Okay. Alright, camera. No camera inversion. We are doing all the important checks. I do not... Oh! To enable, make sure your monitor supports high dynamic range, which it does. But I guess because I haven't turned it on, because not all my monitors are high dynamic range, it's probably going to have a very tough time. Wait, no, I think at least 2 of them will be high dynamic range, and then the third one is just going to be the odd man out. But yeah. Yes, Bone says. Yes, the video is slow. Okay. Wait, how slow is it? If I could have played this on the PlayStation, maybe that would have been the better idea. Imagine if I just, like, refunded this game and then just went right back to the PlayStation. See the information. Presets. Prioritize... see, based on graphic memory. Reduce the demand on your system without any drop in image quality. Yeah, we're gonna prioritize on that. Veritable refresh rate, full screen, vertical sync. I love how it's like full HD or 4K. There's barely any difference. We're just gonna go full HD. There's gonna be no ray tracing. Interesting. Okay. Ultra performance. No changes to the image quality. Texture. Oh, I've got like plenty of fucking like... I've got plenty of VRAM. Like, that should be fine. It's choppy as balls. Well, maybe it's doing better. Like, ooh. This looks better. At least to me. It's not looking choppy to me right now. Hang on a second. So, you... Punch, 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 punch. Alright, hang on. What does it look like if I go to... If I go to my Twitch? Hang on. And then I open the channel. My GPU is like... We're not having that now? Excellent. So it's... Most certainly, CPU problems. God damn, you gotta love it that I know exactly where my problems are gonna be arising with any future video game. CPUs. Also, yes, thank you, Furry Cures, for the mention of the happy autism awareness. I don't know why people aren't aware I didn't have autism until now, but I always have autism. Oh my goodness, how far behind am I to everyone? Hang on. Where is advanced? Video stats. How far am I behind everyone else? Latency to the broadcaster is like 10 seconds right now. Actually, okay, I'm gonna refresh this window, and then I'm gonna say sync, and count how many seconds it takes before I hear sync. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 50. That is a long time ago. That, like, where I just heard myself. That is... We couldn't even see what happened. Yeah, alright. Okay, so that affects models and processing load. I don't want any filtering. Everything is on low. Oh my god, you can actually... Nah, I'm gonna keep it to low. Turn on caching, uses the memory. Contact shadows? This would be a very amazing game if it wasn't, you know... Okay, we might be able to get away with, you know, a little bit higher. And then we have subsurface scatter. Nah. No. We gotta try and keep hair strands. Oh my... Okay, no, we need to have graphic dismemberment on. I'm sorry. Persistent corpses. Few. I don't want too many corpses. Diverse enemy animations? Sure. Test. I just saw your message of test. I wonder if I need to somehow, like... The fuck? I think it's just a case where the amount of time between me sending a message before it gets caught up with chat has just, you know, it got like really long because of all the stuttering and nonsense. So maybe you should get behind, maybe you should, like, what's a mahoozy, refresh your browsers. Refresh your browsers. Let's see how quickly that gets to that, because I think my thingy-majiggy is like 10 seconds behind. And I'll see whether or not my message just above me has gone off. Because I can see in the chat message there's the browser thing, but nope, I'm still on screen space reflections. Rain details. We're going... Can we go none? Destructible environments. Lol. Destructible environments. Apparently, you can just have that on or off. Resource intense lighting. No, thank you. Intense. Alright. But yeah, this is what I'm currently running with. I have a shit ton of RAM. I have an amazing GPU with a shit ton of VRAM, but my CPU is like, it's the bottleneck here. So, wait, did I just go past motion blur? Oh, turn that motion blur shit off. We don't need motion blur. Voices, Japanese. Do we want to go with the Japanese voices or do we want them as English? Hang on a second. What do we want the voice language as? Japanese or English? So, check poll for voice language option. You said the Happy Autism Month first? Yeah, no. So, oh yeah, wait, Bone did say it, and then I didn't realize until Furry Cure said it. But yeah, all right. I am personally gonna vote English as well. So, let's see. You gotta love it, chat. Like, I am so, like, anyone that's talking to me is talking to me like in the future. Your message isn't gonna be seen by like me for like 10 seconds or something. But hi there, Renee Zach. Hello, 10 seconds ago. Welcome to the stream. I am currently setting up the settings for Resident Evil 4 because if I didn't, there would be even more stuttering and I would be probably even further into the future. Alrighty, turn subtitles. Yes, we want subtitles on. Make it large. Let's give it a little bit of opacity. And I'm fine with white. And yes, I would like the speaker's name on. Is there a way? I'm gonna keep it to yellow. And yeah. Master volume, voice. All right, sound effect. Let's turn that down to halfway. Background music is going to be under.
Lagging behind.
I know. I am like really far behind on messages, I think. So Urne Azak is telling me don't be a filthy weeb. I'm guessing they want me to only be in English. Ballistic impact volume. Let's go with small. Why is there a 2-minute delay? So Resident Evil 4 was really intensive in the, actually, if I go to my stats, it will probably tell me where I had the most skipped frames due to encoding lag. There was a lot of technical issues with my CPU, so you're probably hearing this like 2 minutes after, you know, someone in chat explains this. Well, yeah, Furry Curious has said they've refreshed a bunch of times, or Zach is saying they're 2 minutes behind. Furry Curious says there's technical issues. Here's the problem, however. I'm fairly sure I've gone to the limit of like fixing the technical thingamadickies unless I like decide to stop the stream. And the only other option I have is doing CPU encoding instead of GPU encoding for my PC. That won't work, however, because as anyone will realize as to why I wanted to purchase a multi-core CPU is because my CPU is okay for doing one thing at the time.
Furrycures 1221 has added quote number 341. Make it large.
Also, hi there, Wild Saber. Oh my goodness, I'm getting a lot of. My FPS is even like 30 seconds, and then I just get like a pang of skipped frames due to encoding because of like all the emotes that just went off. Hi there, Wild Saber. No, we are not killing people because they sprained their ankle. You're not a horse. You are a human being. You will get better. The pain will go on for a time, but your perseverance will be greater than any pain that comes before you. I had a weird glitch with my browser. My browser wouldn't load anything out. Fixed it by restarting it, though. I hope people don't have to restart. But yeah. No killing, please. No killing, please. All right. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, ding, ding. All right. Accessibility. Presets for visual accessibility. Presets for motion sickness. Server. You know, in case I wanted to go onto the server. Oh, camera wobble. Turn that off. Change the camera mode for running. This will only apply... field of view. Oh. Zoom that shit out. Because, like, who would want that field of view when we can have this level of field of view? Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I am still several seconds, but like I am probably like 2 minutes behind right now. Hang on a second. Advanced. Let me just have a look. Yeah, I've got low latency turned on. Why is my... So FPS, no skipped frames. The buffer size is 2 seconds. The latency to the broadcaster is... They're saying it's 2 seconds latency to the broadcaster. I do not believe them one single bit. My goodness. Can this... Twitch, can you, like, I don't know, fix your fucking streaming hardware?
Quote 107. I just want my duck sucked. Is that too much to ask?
Yes. Every day. Yes, it is too much to ask. It is always too much to ask. Now, hopefully... hang on, streaming.
Quote
is there...
314.
Interval is 2
this
seconds.
This is a really tall wiener.
And
Jesus.
And of course, Very Curious picks their favorite. I don't think I've put on a stream delay on my thingamadoog. The processing speed is above normal. The recording is in year, month, day, hours, and yeah, I've not turned on any stream delay. So, perceive cutoff point, increase delay when reconnect. Okay. Yeah, I haven't put any delay on, but it looks like maybe we're less than a minute now. Or would it be because of the... No, it shouldn't be because of that. All right, close this tab. Man, this is going to be fun, chat. You can probably, like, tell me spoilers and shit, and I would, like, you know, only catch on to the spoiler once I reach that point. My femur will hurt way more. Don't steal my femur bone. Main story. New game. For players who have played Resident Evil 4. Fun fact, I haven't. For players who have not played Resident Evil 4. For players who are unfamiliar with action games. Game mode can be changed.
Quote 317.
We're just going to go with standard.
Hi Bone, how is your 68 kilograms ass?
That's a big ass. Oh my goodness. Alright, so it's processing stuff. The menu was bringing me problems. And I tried fixing the menu, and now I am here. 16.5%. I am now... Frames are missing due to rendering lag. What the fuck are these cultists doing? Who the fuck is that? Wait, are we gonna be seeing a beheading already? Oh. Not good. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's clinical depression.
September 30th.
Yeah. I think I'm born with clinical depression. God damn. Also, good morning, young Jack Raiden. Excuse the fact that I have... Hang on a sec. Where's my mouse?
1998.
Where's my mouse? There we go. Audio mixer. Is anything even working? Yes. Some things are working. It's just... There we go. Some things are working. We just have, you know, a very fun time.
Quote number 342. Don't steal my femur bone.
Yes. Please don't steal my femur. Is there a way for me to pop out the... No, there isn't. Okay. Wait, unless I can... Oop. Bink. Alright, there we go. And then I resize this. And then... Just to resize that to that size, and then resize this to here. Resize this to here. All right, now I can see both the audio levels and my stats. It's not as, like, you know, cramped. Maybe you just can't play this game on the new PC until the new PC parts come. I don't like that idea. That means I'm, like, even farther behind than everyone else. And also, what video game am I going to be playing next?
Bone Musky Dog has added quote number 343. Are we going to be seeing a beheading already?
Yes, we
Bone
almost saw a
Masked
beheading.
Dog thinks you should do 20 squats.
You can try to get ahead in life. Just be careful not to lose your head. Fucking buttons. Great one, Uranizak. All right, I'm going to do my squats real quickly. Maybe I'll do the squats while the cutscene is going off and just quietly count to myself, because there's going to be a huge lag, as you guys are no doubt aware. And quite frankly, I don't think you guys want to deal with the extra amount of time that I'm going to be doing my squats. Anyway, whoosies, squat time.
It's a day I'll never forget. The cop inside me died that day. And that night, Raccoon City was wiped out, thanks to the bioweapons created by Umbrella. Somehow I made it out, but too many others weren't so lucky. I was asked later to join a top-secret government program.
Joe Biden?
Not that I had a choice. The training, punishing missions, nearly killed me. But at least I kept my mind off everything. If I could just forget what happened that night, the pain, even for a second. This time, it can be
Did I just
different.
see Joe Biden?
It has to.
Lively flamenco music. Lovely.
Uranizak paid me to
So
say
tell
don't
me,
be a
Yankee,
dummy. Come on my
Why
tummy.
did you come to this horrible
Or
place?
whatever Mother Gothel
As close
said.
to nowhere that I've
Horny.
ever seen.
Where's my horny bonk?
Looking for someone?
That someone must be very important, huh?
Damn it. Someone bonk
Chief gave the orders
Uranizak.
himself. Help him, he said.
I'm sure you boys didn't come all the way out here to roast marshmallows. Or maybe you did.
You have a strange sense of humor. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Just between us.
Wait, did his
A lot of people
lips
have
even
gone missing around
move?
here. And it's been that way for a while now.
Well then, should be just another day in the office, right?
I mean, last week there was a search for some missing hikers.
I'm sure you'll do your best to help me.
Okay, the lip sync on Leon, totally fine. The lip sync on the officer, I feel like is a little bit off. Like, I feel like the officer is saying some things and his lips aren't moving. I know that's very bold of me to say that when you look at me and you're like, this is a zebra. Half of the words he's saying is not coming properly out of his mouth.
Bone Musky Dog has added quote number 344. Gasps Joe Biden.
Thank you, Bone, for quoting me on Joe fucking Biden. My first thought, seeing the president. Joe Biden!
bebido el bar entero?
Wait, are we in Spain? Where the fuck are we?
You smoke?
Nope, smoking is bad.
Bonk!
Thank you, Jason. A little bit behind the times. Times when they did the TTS thingy-majiggy.
Sitio más tétrico.
Gravitas Draws, thank you for the follow. I'm sorry if I'm not gonna be saying, you know, thank you for the follow and such like that for another minute or two, but there's a huge ass delay, and I don't know how to fix it besides not playing this game. gonna be a while until we see that. Most likely. Actually, wait, how am I gonna do this? If I clap my hands...
Musky Dog has added quote number 345. Did his lips even move?
Maybe you better go and take a look.
Oh, Jesus, the game delay is messing with me. Okay, hold on a second. So, I have an idea to try and figure out this game delay. I'm going to need Furry Cures to send me the TTS redeem. Because thankfully, like, the chat, like, it stays up to date. So I think you should be able to do, like, a chat redeem for, like, the TTS bot or something like that. Or maybe just giving me a head pat or a horny. Let's go with a head pat. Let's go with a head pat at 3, 2, 1, and head pat.
Oh, what's the car? Wouldn't want to get a parking ticket.
Got gum? Why didn't he say he has gum? I don't know. I wasn't properly paying attention to the thingy-madiggies. So, hopefully your evening is going well, Gravitas. Or, right. Gravits. I was looking at... I saw Gravitas, but I realized it's more like Gravits. Oh. See what's taking so long. Alright. Cool. There is no benefit in me being here. Oh, I see why I want to be there. It's so then that way I can go around the fence. If you're playing Resident Evil 2 or 3, you should be fine. If not, here's 3 things. Watch your surroundings, pick up whatever you can find, don't neglect weapon management. Good luck. I've played Resident Evil 2, like the remake, but I'm gonna be real, I don't know if I played that on stream or not. And then I did play Resident Evil Village. So, you know, I'm down to clown with the Resident Evil series, and I just haven't, you know, stayed up to date with it. Thank you for the head pats, Jason. Jesus, how long ago did I ask for the head pat?
1221 paid me to say I'm Grant and I'm a cutie banana nana 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 nana.
What? Okay, I don't need to keep staring at Radium over there. Radium's dead, chat. Alright, excuse me while I go through these woods. Yep, thank you for teaching me about the crouch. Anything in that chest? No? Anything missing? So, I think I'm supposed to be looking for the... Like, I think the meme is that I'm looking for the president's daughter. Which, you know, fair enough. I don't want to go in there yet. I want to look around the sides. Like, I know this... Apparently this is like the pinnacle of, you know, RPG or open world games. So I'm already doing the whole, we gotta investigate every nook and cranny, which I should learn by now. They do not give you that kind of a benefit that early on. Thank you for the head pats, Yornar, by the by. So.
Anyone home?
I don't think they'll answer you. You're too American for them. Okay, so we got that room there. 1 minute and 15 second lag? Jesus Christ! 1 minute and 15 seconds is a bit long. I wonder if I just need to, like, stop the stream and start it again. Hang on, what the fuck is this? Rotate. Oop. Sierra El Juicio. Judgment is nigh. I honestly thought they were saying they were out of juice.
Musky Dog has added quote number 346. Radium is dead, chat.
Yep. Thank you. A minute 7. So we got like a minute 15, a minute 7. We got some dude with Wait, did I just put my hand on the fucking wall? Oh, I did put my hand on the wall. That's cool. All right, so there's about a minute of lag to this thing. Like, it's not like I'm playing a minute behind in this game. It's just more of a case that chat is a minute behind what I'm seeing and such. Hasta al fin viviremos canto notamremos. I am so good at this language. I am just gonna be absolutely fucking fluent when I'm done. No, don't do the slow thing. Let me do my thing. Oh, shit.